Hello and welcome to another edition of Community Forum. I'm your host, Joseph Feaster, and this being the first show of the new year for Community Forum, I want to take this opportunity on behalf of Michael Hammond and Jeff Pickett. Michael Hammond is the station manager, Jeff Pickett is the program and news director. On behalf of Director Roy Cohen and also the producer of this program, and to my cameramen, Leo McGowan and Tyler Cohen, I want to say thank you so much and wishing you a prosperous new year. I also want to thank the aforementioned for all the work that they've done with Roy Cohen and me in producing this program during 2013 and looking forward to continuing that relationship here in 2014. We decided to bring you this year, a program about our youth. For some, we call them our children, or our offspring, or our loved ones, our babies. We are not going to dwell upon the negatives about our youths. So if you want to hear about what their misuse of social media, or their teenage drinking, or bullying, or twerking, and definitely not twerking, then you need to sign off this program and go to another one. But if you want to hear about some of the good things our youth are doing, if you want to hear about family values, if you want to hear about God and country, and yes, God, and I'm saying God and our country, then stay put. In fact, I'm going to give you an opportunity to gather your children up so they can listen to this wholesome program. So I ask you to go get Adam or Alice or Joanne or Joseph or Kayla or Kevin or Roberta or Robert to watch this program with you. So I'm going to give you a moment in order to call them so they can watch this program and sit with you and enjoy learning about some of the good things our young people are doing. So now that everyone is present, let me introduce my guests who assist me in discussing scouting, because that's what we're going to be talking about today is scouting. I want to introduce first John Stewart-Racicot, who is a Eagle Scout inductee. He's soon going to be going to for his for Code of, is it the
Court of Honor?
Court of Honor. Soon on January 10th. He is a Stoughton resident. His family lives here. His father is Mark Racicot, and he is also a former scout.
Yep.
And with him is Eagle Scout Adam Lurie, both of whom I had the pleasure of meeting when I was the interim town manager. So, gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
Wanted to spend this time because, as my opening suggested, I wanted to talk about the good things that young people are doing, and I want to talk about it from a scouting perspective, and to talk about it from what you have learned through scouting, working with family in your schools, and talk about where you were attending at the present time. So I want to start with you, John. Let's talk about how you first became involved with Boy Scouting.
All right. So I was a Cub Scout. I started out really young. I guess I kind of got involved in the beginning because my older brother joined Cub Scouts. If he didn't, I probably wouldn't have. And after that, as how old was I? Maybe 9?
Yeah, probably.
Probably 9. As a 9-year-old, I didn't have much say in it.
Particularly when your dad was a scout.
Yeah, exactly. My dad was a scout before, so he must have thought it was a good thing for me to get into. And I just really enjoyed it, I guess. I was having fun at all the meetings. In Cub Scouts, we just kind of ran around. We made little derby cars and raced them all the time. That was a good time. So I just kind of stuck with it until I was 18.
So, Adam, let's talk about your experience as well, because I will say I did have, prior to the show, I was telling you about, I had only been in the Sea Cadets, but you brought back to me, my son was a Cub Scout.
Yeah.
Because I remember the derby cars. I had to help make, I had to try to show my mechanical acumen in trying to develop that so he could win that race that you have.
It was a very important race.
That's right.
You're a
So,
good
but
father.
anyway, but Adam, tell us about your experience when you started out in scouting.
I started out in scouting in first grade, and mostly at the urging of my parents to have some sort of extracurricular activity. I had a couple friends that were doing it too, so I sort of stuck around, and then like it was almost like a competition to see like, oh, let me get to like the next, like if you didn't make it to the next one, like that was like a big deal. So you like constantly were like working with your friends to keep ranking up, and then I just stuck with it till Boy Scouts, and Boy Scouts got a lot more interesting.
Either one of you, can you talk about just basically the steps? Because I know, as you talked about with the Cub Scouts, it may be limited. It's mainly learning how to work with other individuals. You learn some skills, but you're not into because as I understand it, you learn at Boy Scouts tying the knots and doing different things, that you can use in future years. But can you walk us through an experience of going from Cub Scouting to Boy Scouting and some of the things? And we're going to even talk about some of your badges and all of that in that conversation. So, John, why don't you start it off?
All right. So when you're 12, you become a Boy Scout. You cross over from Cub Scouts to Boy Scouts. And in Boy Scouts, there are a certain number of ranks that you can achieve. What are they? They go, Scout is the first one. Then it goes Tenderfoot, second class, first class, Star, Life, and then Eagle Scout. Eagle is the highest. Now the first few ranks, Scout, Tenderfoot, first class, second class, those ranks are all about learning the basics. Those are the ranks where you're going to learn all the knot tying, how to build fires, how to do wilderness survival, all that good stuff. The ranks above that are the ranks where you really start to learn leadership. By the time you're making those ranks, you're already an older scout. You have a leadership position in the troop, and I think that's a good way to kind of create new leaders because you're making sure you learn all the basics first, then you get put into leadership roles after that. It's a good process.
So, Adam, having gone through that, I don't want to get to the jump to the Eagle, so I want to save the creme de la creme to the end, but I want to talk about what the progression that you made through that process. And am I correct that both of you started, at least Boy Scouting, both in Troop 516?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Well, for Boy Scouts, I started when I was 12, and then like through the earlier stages, so the Scout, Tenderfoot, second class like stages, it was sort of like it wasn't boring, but it wasn't as like you could tell that you were doing all the learning instead of the leading, which was interesting in its own way. And then but then once you make the jump to like first class, everything changes because then you have responsibilities, you have things that you have to get done. I was a patrol leader, so within the troop there's patrols of different where like there's a leader and then they guide like a smaller group of boys than the whole troop. And I was a patrol leader for a long time.
Was it like 3 years?
Yeah, it was like 3 years.
Okay.
I did.
Well, what is a patrol leader? Explain what a patrol leader does within the troop.
A patrol leader is responsible for making sure that the boys that are under him rank up. So like, if they need a requirement, it's your job to help them get that. You're supposed to have meetings at your house or at the troop to get these requirements. You look over their books to make sure that everything is up to date. You're basically the go-to guy for anybody below you that needs help. So if they need anything, you're like in charge of making sure the troop can provide that for them.
Let me ask you this, and I'm positing this question because I don't know with particularity, about scouting. Mm-hmm. Is it militaristic in the sense of a pecking order within it, or and I want you to really explain this because hopefully those parents have gathered their children around the TV and want to listen to the pearls of wisdom that you are going to be imparting. I want to know, is it something that's fun? It's something that's engaging, or is it military in terms of rank and salute and all of those things? Describe the environment that you're in when you're in scouting.
I think first and foremost, scouting was fun for me. I never really got serious about it until I was an older scout. But there is a pecking order to it, but it's only to ensure that everything runs smoothly. We had, when I aged out, when I was 18, we had 50 people in the troop. And unless there's a really good system for running the troop, it's just not going to work out so well. So there is I guess you said a pecking system or pecking order. There's the senior patrol leader, then he has all of his assistants, then there are all the patrol leaders, and then there are all the other kids. So there is a order to it, but first and foremost, scouting is fun.
And would you say that, you know, it sounds like listening to both of you that you learn leadership qualities, you learn organization, you learn certain skills.
Yeah.
Can you describe how that progression or how that is handled within scouting? And I suspect some of that came about when you were Cub Scouts as well.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about that? Because see, what I really want our listening and viewing audience to see is, wow, this is really something good about the scouting. And when we start talking about where you and Adam have progressed and how you've come out to be good citizens of this country, I think the scouting had something to do with that. And I want to impart that to our audience. So you have to help me tell this story.
Okay.
Tell this story about all the great things about scouting which produced two good gentlemen as yourselves.
All right. That's a large task, but let's see if we can do it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess most of the skill learning is in Cub Scouts. In Cub Scouts, you do like the basic stuff where you learn how to like build a fire or like cook very simple meals. And then when you get to Boy Scouts, it starts to like build, where you're getting like more complicated knots. You're getting application as opposed to just knowledge. But then, I mean, for me, I don't know about John, but for me, where the leadership and like the like character building really came in was like halfway through Boy Scouts, when you start to get those leadership positions, because you're responsible for other people, and if something's wrong with them, it's on you. So then you have to figure out how to get the respect of both the boys below you and the ones above you to sort of, that helps build character, I think. But
So we have respect, we have trust, we have character building. All of, just going to start listing some of the characteristics or traits of scouting. When you start talking, Adam, and I know John, you alluded to it, you have both the persons below you, who you have to nurture and build, because part of your responsibility as a patrol leader or a senior patrol leader is to ensure that they're able to advance through scouting by doing the requirements that they need to meet. So you're going to have the private meetings at your home or at the troop. But you also, as you're building in your own development, you have to deal with your uplines as well to demonstrate to them, are they able to move on to the next level? How are you able to deal with all of that as you're looking down and looking up as well?
I mean, it does sound like a lot right now, but I think it's important to remember that the people you're dealing with, people who are younger than you, the people who are older than you, they're all your friends anyways. So like, it is a good way to build character. It's all about learning how to kind of navigate. Like, it would be good to take all that knowledge you like learned there and like bring it to a workplace. It's good to figure that out too. But I think it was probably a lot easier in scouting because you're friends with the people above you, you're friends with the people below you, and it kind of works itself out eventually.
Adam, would you share that same opinion that John has articulated?
yeah, definitely. I mean, I met a lot of good friends through scouting, and they've stuck. Because I mean, when you go on these camping trips, you do a lot together, and you're working towards common goals, and that helps build friendships. So
yeah. You know what? You must have been reading my mind, because I was just going to get to the camping trips. I told you about my own one experience, which I won't relate here on the air, but nonetheless, what I would like for you, let's talk about that, because that too is, at least in scouts that I've spoken with previously, have always mentioned about going to the Boy Scout camps.
Yeah.
Talk about that. I don't know if you go for a certain period of time or frequently. Talk about the whole camp experience.
Camp is probably the best part of scouting. It's the spot where you can like bring all the things you're learning and actually use it. Like, we learned how to build a fire on the camping trips. You actually get to build the fires. We taught you how to use knives safely. You actually get to use knives and saws and hatchets on camping trips. You actually do the skills you're learning how to do. And we would go, our troop would go every month. We would go on monthly camping trips.
Okay.
In the winter, we would do, cabin camping trips, or we would go on different outings together. But for the majority of the time, we would do monthly camping trips. And then every summer, we would go to summer camp for a week up in New Hampshire.
Yep.
That was always a good
That
time.
was the best.
Yeah.
I hearken back to my own experiences. I was a camp counselor
Yeah.
at a camp. I used to go to camp in upstate New York. And when we went on the camping trips, which in fact I hiked on a portion of the Appalachian Trail.
Yeah.
And, you know, there is nothing better that after you finish hiking or whatever, pitching camp and cooking anything on an open fire. Everything tastes good.
Oh, so much better.
But talk a little bit about, you know, in terms of how you transported the gear, how you would pitch camp.
Yeah.
You know, give a sense. Let's take us into one of your campsites as you're arriving to your location. Not the cabin one. I want the one where you had to pitch the tents. And
The real ones.
Cool.
You know, and I don't know whether you had individual tents, the one big tent, or how that operated. Just walk us through that for a minute.
Should I
Go for it.
So for pitching camp, it depended on the campsite. Sometimes we would be able to drive the cars up, and then we would unpack and just set up. Other times we would have to backpack up like a hill and into like the middle of nowhere with all our gear. Either way, usually setup would go pretty quickly because kids wanted to get to the activities. The way it was set up is we would have, it was usually 2 guys to a tent. It was always 2, there was never 1, but it was usually 2, sometimes 3 or 4, depending on the size of the tent and the supplies. But it was usually 2 guys to a tent. They pitch their tent, then they clear the area around the fire pit to make sure that the forest doesn't light on fire.
It's always good.
And then from there, you sort of like haul in your personal gear, set up inside the tent, and then you get started right away on working on like merit badges or requirements. We'd usually set up a axe yard.
Yeah.
That was like a roped off area where there would be like sawing and hatchet using to cut firewood and stuff. But yeah, setup usually was pretty quick.
Yeah.
I want to, again, I'm going to have to, I mean, you guys are taking me back to my time, at least going away to camp and when we used to go camping. You know, because I had none of the training that you're talking about. So whatever I did with an axe or a knife or whatever came learning as I was there.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, one of the things was knowing how to get a fire started, knowing what wood you could use, and searching, because you know you're using the terrain in order to acquire it, and you're not cutting down. You're finding basically dead wood. You're not going around cutting down trees, so people won't have to worry about that we're destroying the forest. But nonetheless, that whole process, is that all of the things that, as a scout leader or as a patrol leader, these are the types of things that you would lead the scouts under your command to teach them to do?
Yeah. Oftentimes on camping trips, we wouldn't get the whole troop going on camping trips, so the patrols kind of got mixed together. At one point, I think we had 5 patrols when I was senior patrol leader, but on any given camping trip, we might only have enough people to make 2 patrols. Okay. So we would put 2 patrol leaders in place for that camping trip, and then have them, you know, watch over those scouts, teach those scouts the lessons they need to know, and that's usually how it worked itself out for leadership on camping trips.
Now, I know one of the things that that is part of scouting, and one of the prides of that, particularly for parents as they're going through scouting, are the badges that you receive as you go along. And I see that both you and Adam have your sashes here. And why don't we talk about, you know, and we probably won't cover because they're so long. I need about 4 shows to go over all the badges that you have. But if you or Adam, in terms of going, you know, you do a few, Adam, you do a few, John, just tell us what it is, and maybe we'll ask them to bring the camera in as you explain it. You can pick out whichever ones you want to. So, yeah, Adam, you're going to go first.
All right. Well, I guess I'll start with the first one. There's the swimming badge.
Yes.
So the swimming badge is really important because, one, you can see the silver. It's required for Eagle, when you're going for Eagle, but also it allows you to do a lot in terms of swimming.
What do you have to do to get the swimming badge?
You have to do
I know you have to swim further than I can. If I'm in a pool, I can go from side to side, and then I'm done.
Was it like half a mile?
No, it wasn't.
No,
that was
but
for
it was
life
around.
saving.
It was like
It was-
8 or a quarter mile maybe around. They had a box at summer camp. So the best way to do it is to knock it out your first year at summer camp.
Yeah.
Because there's the lake there. You can knock and you can just do it. You have to do swimming. I know you have to jump in with all your clothes on and then use them to make sort of a flotation device.
That was so hard.
Yeah, that's a complicated one. Mostly because you have to somehow get your jeans off in the pond.
Fill them with water.
Oh, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm already done. They be getting the hook to take me out, but anyway.
But once you get the swimming badge, you're allowed to do anything on the waterfront, pretty much, which is really fun because then you get to do the boats and all that stuff. But we also go on a canoe trip every other year, and you need the swimming badge to go on that. So once you get that, a lot more opportunities open up.
Yeah.
Now,
definitely.
not water rafting, canoe trip.
Right, a canoe trip.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Why don't you take one, John, and then we'll go back to Adam. We'll do a few of them. I'd like to have you do a few of them. So look at some of
All
those.
right. I was going to do canoeing merit badge, but we already kind of talked about that. So I guess we could move down to personal fitness. That was a fun one. Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun.
It's also a required Eagle badge. You see the silver around the side of it. The big part about this badge is that it requires you to do 90 days straight of physical fitness and record your progress over those 90 days. So me and Adam actually knocked it out together in one summer. We every day in the summer, Adam would come over to my house. We'd go over to the field across my house. We would do the running, the push-ups, the sit-ups.
So that's what I could use to be as fit as
Yeah,
you guys
yeah.
are right now. I'm coming by next summer when you come home from
Good
school.
stuff. Yeah, sounds good. But yeah, that was definitely one of the most time-consuming badges. There are 2 badges that take at least 3 months to do. It's personal fitness, which is the 90-day commitment, and also personal management.
Yeah,
is
you
the
have to
other.
keep a budget.
Yeah, you have to budget
90
your
days.
finances for 3 months. So there are some badges that take longer than others, like those two. Those 2 take 3 months, as opposed to like fingerprinting. I got that in an afternoon. So
Okay. Adam, why don't you talk about another one?
I don't know how much the parents will like this one, but we have the shotgun merit badge. It's one right here. It's one that you can get at camp. It's really safe. There's no need to be worried. They teach like proper range etiquette.
Okay.
And then of course there's the fun part. You get to actually shoot the shotguns, and you have to qualify. So you have to hit a certain number of birdies that they throw up there, like the clay pigeons.
Yeah.
They're like the orange discs. And if you hit a certain number of them, then you qualify and you can get the badge.
So it's almost like skeet shooting?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
skeet
they
shooting.
have a skeet range at something.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
you get to shoot, and you learn how to clean the gun, take care of the gun, how to be safe on the range, all that good stuff. Yeah. It's a really fun time.
Yeah.
Why don't we do one more with you, John, just if you want to take another badge out.
All right.
And, yeah.
I think one of the most important badges is probably, especially after talking about shotguns, probably first aid. First aid's a really good one that we require. Not only is it an Eagle Scout required badge, meaning that you need to get it if you want to make Eagle, but our troop does something a little bit different with it. We really value first aid because we go on so many camping trips. We're outside so often, we could hurt ourselves in so many situations, that to become first class, one of the ranks in our troop, we require that the scout has that merit badge. It's not a written rule anywhere or anything like that. It's just something to make sure, first class, they're going to be taking care of younger scouts. They're probably going to be a patrol leader at that time. That, if we give them these positions, that they can actually make sure the kids underneath them are safe.
So, we talked about 4 of the badges here. We talked about almost all the things that maybe first aid I could do, but when we start talking about the swimming one, I went to the YMCA when I was 9 years old because I almost drowned. And at least I got to right below junior lifesaver. They had one called Shark, but I still can't tread water to this day because you have to be comfortable in order to be able to do that. And taking off my clothes would have been difficult to get a flotation device. they would have gotten the hook for me, for sure. And then we talked, you know, about the shotgun and the first aid, and also the one, there was one other that, oh yes, the physical fitness one that you talked about. I see on your sash there are several badges. What are the number that are needed in order for one to now to aspire to attain the Eagle Scout rank?
Well, you need all the Eagle Mare badges, which are, I think there's 12 Eagle Mare badges. And then in addition to that, just for Eagle, you only need, I think, 6 other badges that aren't required. But before that, to get to like every rank after first class, you need a certain number of Mare badges.
Okay.
So I think total to get Eagle, you need something like
22
or 24 to get Eagle by ranking up. But for the Eagle rank itself, you just need
the Eagle.
Yeah, the Eagle Mare.
Now, I think both of you said you started scouting, Boy Scouting.
Yeah.
At 12.
Yep.
So that means, and then you age out at 18.
Yep.
So you have 6 years in which to acquire all of what's necessary if you want to advance in scouting, whether you make Eagle Scout or not. And we'll talk about, I mean, Eagle Scout is the creme de la creme. I mean, and only as I was reading, maybe 2% of the people in scouting ever get it.
Yeah.
So both of you attaining that distinction is just admirable. But it seems like everything that the building blocks towards that, what you learned in scouting, and also the involvement of your parents encouraged you in scouting, supporting. I'm sure they did some of the driving and all of the things, and assist with some of the activities that you had to do in order to attain your badges. Could you tell us how all of that has influenced what you are doing now? Now, I know both you and Adam both are in college. Let's talk about Stewart-Racicot and Adam Lurie now, Racicot. And Adam Lurie. Talk about how scouting and those family values and the support of your parents and, as I said, God and country have shaped who you are today.
Yeah. Well, I think that Boy Scouts has definitely influenced my beliefs, how I act, all of that. And I think especially it affected how I value service, because service is also very important to Boy Scouts. We do service days all the time. We do service projects all around town. And, you know, that's always been something that's stuck with me. In college now, I go to UMass Amherst. I'm in a service fraternity, and we kind of take care of the marching band there, and we do all of those things. And I think if it wasn't for Boy Scouts, I wouldn't have the value of service instilled in me in this way. I don't think I'd be doing any of that.
Well, since I've done some of my, I do a little preparation for these shows. Yeah. I know a little bit more about that, and your dad just sent me a wealth of information on you that I could take the whole show and just talk about you. But I know that you did a lot while you were at Stoughton High School. You were in the band at Stoughton High School. And in fact, you did a special, when you talk about service, you did a project for Haitian relief. So can you talk a little bit about that and how you came, how that shaped you as well while you were at Stoughton High?
So it was the year of the big Haitian earthquake, and I was in my coming of age program at my church at that time, and for that we needed to come of age. We needed a project, a service project that we were gonna plan ourselves, fundraise for, and figure out what we were gonna do. What we ended up deciding to do was organize a day that the jazz bands at the Stoughton High School would come down to our church and play an open air concert on the lawn of the church. And we would raise money for the Haitian earthquake victims during that. We ended up raising, I think, about $1,000 for an orphanage that was destroyed down in Haiti, so we sent all that money down to them.
Excellent. And Adam, I didn't gather the information. I got to know you more about you when you were going through doing your Eagle Scout project. and you came to Town Hall to discuss that with me. So let's talk about your project first, and then I want to come back to yours, John, because I know yours is the flag,
Yeah.
and yours is the gate
Yep.
at Glen Echo. So let's talk about your project and some other things. Let's have the viewing audience know a little bit more about who Adam Lurie is.
Well, I go to George Washington University down in DC. Down there, I'm in, if anybody knows, TED Talks that are on, they're online. They're like talks about technology, entertainment, and design. And we're putting on our own version of that, where it's not our own version, but it's a TED conference down there, and I'm working on that team to do that. I'm also with an organization called Room to Read, which collects money to buy books for people in need, so that people will be able to read. But I think scouting helped with that a lot too. And I noticed, like, when I'm at work, and when I was at school, like, it's this itch that you want to, like, do something, and, like, you can't, if you're, like, not doing something, like, productive, or, like, especially at work, like, when you're sitting there and not doing anything, you get this need to do something, and I think that comes from the Eagle program. But yeah, my project was the flagpole, and that took, I think in total, it took a...
Tell them where your project is positioned now. I know it's in the...
It's across from Tosca Drive. There's at the corner of Central and Canton Street.
Yes.
And yeah, it's at that little park, the Frederick H. Pye Memorial Park. He was a fireman, fire chief for the town of Stoughton, and did a lot. And I helped put the flagpole there. It took about 6 months, I think, total, from start to finish, like starting planning it and then finishing it. The actual work took about a month. A lot of digging in the middle of the summer. It was hot. Cars were going by, like, but yeah, I helped get the flagpole up there. And
well, not only help, you also raised the funds and
Yeah.
all of that, and I believe you even were able to make a donation back to the town at the conclusion of your project.
yeah, so to raise the funds, I sold bricks that were engraved. It took me a little bit to get all those in, even after the project was done, because of ordering and such. But yeah, I sold those, and they ended up more than paying for the project, so I was able to donate some money back to the town to use as they see fit.
So I'm going to ask our viewing audience to go by, look at Adam's project right there on Central and Canton Street, and maybe we can start another, Adam, maybe we can start another activity whereby we can raise some more money in order to support that particular effort, to support some of your other projects that you're involved with, wanting to be of service, as you've learned during your time in scouting. And John, your project at Glen Echo, in terms of the gate, let's talk about that. Let's talk about how you came to envision that particular project and the steps you went about.
Definitely. So I don't know if the viewers at home know, but Glen Echo Park was recently purchased by the town in 2011. The trails back there, well, I should probably describe it to all you viewers out there. So in Glen Echo, there's a nice pond. There are a lot of walking trails around. I forget how many acres it is, but it's a good-sized park. But when the town purchased it, the trails were not in good shape. Recent hurricanes, blizzards, all those storms had taken down a lot of trees and blocked off most every path in the park. Also, there was a lot of trash strewn around there just from years of no one going in to pick it up. So what I did was I scheduled a couple of cleanup days where the troop and we went out with hand saws, hatchets, and just kind of walked every trail that we could find and cleared all of it. We cut down any fallen trees that were in our way, pushed them off to the side, and yeah, it was looking a lot better by the time we were finished with that. We even built a couple bridges going across streams that were cutting some paths in some of the lower parts of the park. But then the second part of my project was making an entrance gate to the park. because back there the road just kind of dead ends and then the park begins, and it's not really clear where that happens. So with the help of Skipper Pole Services, great company, check them out. You're welcome, Skipper. Skipper Pole Company, they put up basically 3 telephone poles in a nice archway over the front of it. And then one of the adults in the troupe, he works for Signs by Jay, and they made a great redwood sign, 7 feet long, 2 feet wide, and it's hanging there right now. It says Glen Echo, welcome to Glen Echo. So, yeah.
Right, I saw the picture of that.
Yeah.
I haven't yet been to the park, and probably want to go with you one day and walk those trails.
Yeah, it's a great walk.
It can be a fun time. But you as well, went about, how did you go about raising your funds for your project? And I believe you also had monies that were left over.
I didn't have any money left over.
Okay, it was Adam that
Adam
helped
had
the
all
town.
the money.
Okay, well that's all right. You gave well, maybe those companies you just gave a plug to, they'll make a contribution
they'll do
to
something.
the town. But in any event, how did you go about raising the funds for your project?
So what I did was I sold plaques that were going to be put on the archway. The plaques were $20. With any donation of $20, you got a plaque with your name on it. And I put all the plaques up on the uprights of the archway. So as you're driving in or as you're walking in, you can look to either side and you can see all the donors. It's really impressive. It's nice.
Now, again, I'm always looking at the marketing side and also the fundraising side. Now, we can hang some other things up there with more donors. We can add some more names, even
That's
those
true.
after the fact. So we may want to talk about that after the program on how we can do that to help either your particular service project or maybe to help Troop 516.
Yeah.
We can definitely talk about that. Now, I know that soon you're going to be, I believe Adam's already been through this process, that, soon you're going to the Court of Honor, which is another distinction of being an Eagle Scout. Can you describe, in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let Adam, since he's already been there, describe the Court of Honor piece. I want to talk about and tell our audience that John will get inducted through the Court of Honor ceremony on coming Friday, January 10th at 7 p.m. over at the Church of Immaculate,
it's the Methodist Church in Stoughton.
The Methodist Church in Stoughton. So I'm certain, is everybody invited? Am I doing something?
Stop by, go for it.
You ought to stop by and see what's scouting. And it may be something you want to bring your children to. And as I said at the outset of the program, this may be the type of thing they may see what John is experiencing here, what scouting is all about, and how the good things that can happen as young people in the town of Stoughton. But Adam, why don't you walk us through what is the Court of Honor?
So the Court of Honor is it's really the final step in Boy Scouts where you get your Eagle Award. So like you can see I have the pin here. You get that at the ceremony, and then you go through, usually everybody there, all the scouts get caught up with badges that they haven't yet received. And then you go through and there's a series of guests, and they're guests of honor, and they read letters that they've written specifically for you. There's usually one from the president, the vice president, the governor.
Of the President and Vice President of the United States?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you can request other ones. I got one from the Pope. You can get ones from, I think astronauts are on there. Mike Rowe is on there. If you like dirty jobs, there's a bunch of people. Like anybody you can imagine. The FBI gives one. You go through and you can request ones, and then they'll give you a letter, and then they're read there. And then there's also people that helped with your project that are up there, and or people that you have to invite. A teacher, a coach, or 2 teachers, a coach, an employer, just like a bunch of people like who help you with your journey through life, I guess, and they can all come up and give speeches. And so then they all give their speeches. Then you get your scouting history read. which John did for me at mine, I'm going to do for him at his.
All right.
And they say where you came, how you came through scouting. Then you have somebody read you a charge. So somebody who like tells you, like, as an Eagle Scout, I want you to do this. This is where you should go with your life, and they charge you with that. And then you give a charge to the troop and what you want them to do with their lives. And then you go through that, then you get your award, you give flowers to your mother, you give a pin to your father, and then it's sort of over, and then there's really good fruit punch afterwards.
Yeah. The punch is delicious.
The punch is amazing.
Now, and that sounds fantastic, and I've had the distinct honor of being able to write a letter for you, Adam, when you went through your in terms of that ceremony, and for you, John, I've done one which I understand you've yet to see.
I don't know what's in it.
What's in it until then. But nonetheless, I mean, it is a distinct honor, this particular ceremony, and it is the epitome of what you have done in all of your scouting history. And I just want to read for a moment for a viewing audience is what is the significance of the Eagle rank. I just want to read this for a moment. And this is what appears in the Boy Scout Handbook and was given to the Illustrated by President of the New Hyde Park Garden City Park, VFW Reno Staffa. And it says the Eagle Scout is the highest honor that a scout may achieve. Only 2% of all Boy Scouts attain this high honor. It represents many years of dedicated effort and the successful completion of a long process that started when a young man became a Cub Scout. It is a demonstration of how people working together can truly help to mold a young man with a solid sense of leadership, citizenship, and responsibility. An Eagle Scout is one who has taken the Scout oath and law to which he has promised and embodied them within his character. The oath and law have become part of him. They guide and direct him. In the 3 parts of the Scout oath, he promises upon his honor to do his best, to do his duty to God and his country, and to other people at all times, and by keeping himself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. Likewise, an Eagle Scout obeys the Scout law and puts its points into every action he does. He is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Each is as important a foundation stone in the building of strong character. The Eagle Scout is the highest and most coveted award in all of scouting, and it is the last major step in the advancement program. It is at this point that scouting has achieved its purpose in these Eagles, in building participating citizenship, in growth in moral strength and character, in the development in physical, mental, and emotional fitness. Awarding the Eagle is an important and serious matter. It is the climax and goal toward which this Scout has been working for several years. It is the culmination of the efforts of the parents and leaders of his Scout. It is an occasion for pride and joy. Now, that's a mouthful.
Yeah.
But it typifies all of what both of you have said about how scouting surrounds you with a nurturing environment, educates you, embodies you with leadership, gives you character, learns you how to be sensitive towards mankind, to proceed in a way which is always going to be positively representative of yourself and of your family, of your community, and of your country. And this is what scouting is all about. So as we begin to, as we come to somewhat to the close of this program, because we're not there yet, but the reality is, now that you have taken us, you are now young men, 18 and or 19 years old. You're embarking, both of you are in college pursuing courses of study. You're taking what you have learned through scouting and what you have learned from your parents and from this community and taking that forward, you in the western part of the state, John, you, Adam, to the District of Columbia, closer to the White House. Maybe you'll get to meet President Obama and Vice President Biden. What would you say, having taken all of that, and after my reading of what the significance of the Eagle Scout, both of you, tell me what it means to you. I mean, there's a lot's been said here. It's very flowery. I'm sure, based upon knowing both of you, as I have over the past year or so, you seem to embody that. But tell us what you see the significance of the Eagle Scout is in your lives. And Adam, since you're the senior Eagle Scout here, having had your ceremony in August of last year, tell us what it is to you. And then John, I'd like for you to give us your impression as well.
I think actually at my friend Nolan Frayne, he also got his Eagle before I did. They read at his ceremony a letter from Mike Rowe, and I think Mike Rowe said what being an Eagle is the most, and that what it gets you, it doesn't get you anything. Being an Eagle it's not going to get you like anything really, but it does distinguish you. So if like everything else is the same as somebody else and then you have Eagle, that's gonna push you ahead. But what Eagle really gets you is a better sense of yourself. You're going to be able to think things through better. You're going to be a better leader. And personally, that's better than it just like opening things up. And it does open things up for you. I know a lot of people at my college too are Eagle Scouts. It helps you get places. But what it really does is give you skills and abilities that help you live your life better. You're gonna be a better person. You're gonna be more driven to do things and complete things than the average person. And I think that's what Eagle really is about. It's about becoming the best person you can be. And that's what Eagle is all about.
So I'm just going to, we lawyers, we like to summarize things. So let me do that before I get to John. So in essence, what it is, it's all personal. Mm-hmm. While it provides some benefit because it puts you in an elite class and of distinction, primarily what it is, it has built all of these things that were mentioned here. It has built this in you as an individual.
Exactly. Yep.
And you're able to project this in terms of in all aspects of your life, the way you think about things, the way you feel about things, the way you operate in your own life. So it is personal. John, what is your thoughts?
Yeah. I agree with that, and I think it's the most important thing to remember is the rank of Eagle isn't the finish line. It's not something that you get and then you're like, oh, cool, I'm an Eagle Scout. Done for the rest of my life, I'm good. Just gonna be an Eagle Scout. It's not something that you can really like dine out on for years. It's something that you're gonna achieve the rank of Eagle, and then you're gonna continue to do great things, or at least that's what I hope I'm gonna be doing. And it's really something, you have all of these things instilled within you, all these skills, and you have to keep on using them.
Well, I want to, we're going to take a brief pause because I want to make sure that our sponsors are recognized. You've already given your bid for those two companies, so I need to give the ones who support this program. So we're going to take a moment. We'll come back, and at that time we'll have a few moments. And then I just, at that point in time, I'm going to let you do some free expression about some of the things that you might want to say to our viewing audience. But we'll be back in a moment. Boy Scouts of America Troop 516 meets on Fridays at 7:30 p.m. at First United Methodist Church on Pleasant Street in Stoughton. The Scoutmaster is Steve Camo, and his email address is sjpjn@comcast.net. The crew would like to thank Maxie's Delicatessen for all that they do for us and providing such fare for us on each and every show. And they're located at 117 Sharon Street in Stoughton. The phone number is 781-341-1662. American Cancer Society is looking for volunteers to drive cancer patients to and from treatment. So if you're willing to volunteer, help some of our citizens who are afflicted with cancer, please give the American Cancer Society a call at 1-800-ACS-6662 or on their website at www.cancer.org. Ilse Marks Food Pantry and St. Anthony's Free Market is located at the First United Methodist Church. For more information, call Christine Gallagher at 781-341-0611 or 781-341-0549. Meals on Wheels are also looking for drivers who can assist them in delivering meals to our homebound persons. You can assist them or by giving a call to Jessica at 781-344-8882, extension 2. Stoughton Penny Savers. Our business is advertising your business. They would love to have your ads to help you get the business here in town and around the towns in this area. They are located at 27 Rose Glen Street in Stoughton, and you can call them to place your ad by calling 781-344-4833. International Forum Show. Had the pleasure of hosting that program, interviewing guests with local roots throughout the world via Skype. That program airs on Sundays at 8:30 p.m., Mondays at 11 p.m., Wednesdays at 9 a.m., Thursdays at 9:30 p.m., and Saturdays at 12 noon. You can view this program at Comcast Channel 9 or Verizon Channel 28. Oh, my favorite program, Community Forum Showtimes in Stoughton. Thursdays, Fridays, Saturday, and Sunday at 6 p.m., Monday at 8 p.m., Tuesday at 5 p.m., and you can view the program on Comcast Channel 9 or Verizon Channel 28. We also accept comments and suggestions on programming or some thoughts on the programs you've seen. And you can do that by sending an email to communityforum1@yahoo.com. Community Forum is also shown in Easton, and the show times are Monday at 9 p.m., Tuesday at 8 a.m., Wednesday at 3 p.m., Saturday at 10 a.m. Again, you can view it on Comcast Channel 9 or Verizon Channel 22. And we accept comments and suggestions. You can contact us at communityforum1@yahoo.com. And now, we're back, gentlemen. We have a few more moments to talk about it. And I've learned so much about scouting, and if I could tack off for about 40-something years, maybe I can go back and start my scouting days and to get that type of training and instruction and qualities that both of you embody. But if being where you are now as Eagle Scouts, I would suspect that you can also be spokespersons for Boy Scouting. Mm. And I would like for you, each in turn, and I think you've done some of this, but I want to try and direct your focus on this. Let's sell some people in the viewing audience, and you can look right in the camera and do this. Sell them on why it would be to their advantage to encourage their young people to get involved in scouting. And I'm going to give Adam, as this senior one here, I'm going to let you start, and then I'm going to give John an opportunity.
Okay. I would have to say my pitch for scouting is stick with it. Once you start, it may seem boring at times. It seems nerdy. We get that. It has the uniform and everything, but it's definitely worth it. You make friends that last. It's not a bad organization. It's not nerdy. It's a lot of fun. You get to build fires. You get to shoot guns. So once you're in it, stick with it, and it'll definitely pay off. That's my pitch.
John, let's get your salesmanship for scouting.
I mean, that was a pretty good pitch.
Thank you.
I'd have to agree with that. It is a long process. I mean, it's 6 years, 12 to 18, or if you're in Cub Scouts, it's longer than that. But probably the greatest thing I've decided to do. I didn't even really decide to do it. My parents did it for me. Parents out there, decide this for your children now. bring them to a meeting. It's going to be fun, I promise.
And let's talk, if you're marketing, you got to tell where you are and where you meet at and what time you meet and all of that. So do your whole pitch.
All right. So Troop 516 in Stoughton meets at the First United Methodist Church in Stoughton, 7:30 on Friday nights. Stop by. You guys are always welcome to just pop into a meeting, see how you like it. Yeah, it's going to be a good time.
And so your Court of Honor,
Yes.
John, is coming up, and you're having your good friend. It seems like you and Adam have been friends forever.
Yeah.
Did you all start together in scouting?
No.
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 Okay.
We were in Cub Scouts together, but we didn't
talked.
We didn't really talk until Boy Scouts,
Yeah.
and then we became really good friends.
And your Court of Honor is taking place on this coming Friday
Yep.
or January 10th.
Yep, January 10th.
At 7 o'clock. And as we said, that's going to be at the Methodist Church.
Yep.
On Pleasant Street.
Yes.
At that time. Again, it's been my pleasure, certainly. I came to know the two of you as you were looking to do your projects, your scouting project, your Eagle Scout projects here in the town of Stoughton when I was interim town manager. And it just was a pleasure. Both of you were so articulate, had so much clarity on what you wanted to do, how you were going to go about it, what some of the obstacles that were there, and ways in which the town could support you. And as I can recall, the selectmen in both of your instances graciously and readily accepted your projects and lent the town's support to your efforts. I just think the world of the two of you, and even coming home for school break after your first year is certainly, to spend the time here to be able to talk about this, to possibly to get others who might be interested in scouting to learn what scouting is about. The two of you are definitely assets to this community, and I can say for an excellent representatives of young people across this nation. I think as I started out, my interest and the interest of the program staff here today was to tell you that, to let folks know that our young people are doing some great things, that in terms of there's a way in which we can get and support our young folks in this. Scouting is a way in which to do it, not the only way, but it is a way in which to do it. And I want to say kudos to scouting. I want to say kudos to you, Adam, to you, John. Congratulations. Unfortunately, I won't be there for your program, but I've had the pleasure of writing communications on your behalf when Adam did his, and for yours as well. Yeah. So again, to both of you, the best in your careers, best in your lives, and thank you for appearing on the program today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for inviting us.
Yep.